Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is Troyce at Chronicles of an expat in early retirement. I retired early to Laos back in December with my wife, and we are living on a modest budget under $1 million. I expected to work to at least another 2 years, but I lost my job due to budget cuts. I did want to work a little longer because I wanted my finances to be in a more comfortable situation. But fate didn't have it that way. I actually cut myself from the job, and it was mostly because the leadership in the organization went to complete shite. I was very happy to leave that job, but I wasn't happy about going into early retirement. Anyway, that early retirement has given me more time, of course, and something I was looking forward to. And so I've been able to spend a little time doing things that I haven't been able to do, like reading articles. This is information that I wish I would have had a long time ago for finances and investments. I could have been in a better situation even earlier in life and possibly had more options. But I'm still interested in the statistics. I like to see the numbers. One of the cardinal sins in retirement is not to compare yourself. We all like to do it. I just put out a video last week on a few articles that I came across that I found were interesting. And this week I found 3 more articles that I thought would be interesting to look at. How do you like my coffee cup that I bought in Chiang Mai one time? So I'm looking at 3 new articles dropped here in June, and they reveal some fascinating and some shocking truths about how much people actually have saved for retirement versus what the experts say you should need. Today we're going to look at some real numbers of what people actually have compared within age groups. Now remember, these are just benchmarks. These are just statistics. I wish I would have had this kind of information when I was younger. It just would have gave me something to shoot for. So this is an article from Investopedia tracking Americans between the ages of 65 to 74. The peak isn't as high as you think it should be, and it's very surprising to me. The data shows that for households in this age group who actually have retirement accounts, the median balance is right at 200,000. This first chart actually shows you how many people in each age group actually have any savings at all. You know, you look at this 18 to 34, only barely 50% of them have any kind of savings at all. Ages 35 to 44, only 61%. 45 to 54, only 62% of the population have any kind of savings. Between 55 and 64, ages 65 to 74, 51%, so half, and ages 75 and plus, a little over 40%. These numbers are not vary too much from 50%. 200,000 is the median balance, and that is the highest median of any age group. And this sounds good on paper, but if you apply the classic 4% rule, $200,000 nest egg, that only gives you $8,000 a year. If you had to live off of $8,000 a year, plus whatever Social Security you might have, I think the average is about $2,000 there. Could you make that work where you're living now? Drop a comment and let me know if that is a scary number, if you could live on that or not. So $8,000 a year only comes to $666 a month. I've seen people post videos on how they can live on less than $1,000 a month, including rent. You would be eating noodles and rice all day. You'd still really be scraping by. You wouldn't really be able to do much of anything else. The Investopedia emphasizes that once you reach this stage, it's no longer just about accumulating wealth. It's all about coordination. So you have to juggle the time of your Social Security, your tax-efficient withdrawals, and long-term expenses. If you mess up that order, Uncle Sam could take a massive cut from your savings, even on $200,000. Have any of you already started mapping out your exact withdrawal sequence? Or are you just planning to pull from whatever account looks good at the time? I really recommend that you get some help if you're not sure what you're doing. I recently did a video. I had a financial plan done for me. I paid $3,000. I realized that managing the retirement isn't just about a flat withdrawal rate. It's about how you manage the layout so you can legally minimize the federal taxes and maximize the tax benefits. And it's very easy to make a mistake if you don't really check the logic and your calculations and you keep track. This next article is from CNBC, How America Saves report. And this looks at 500 million workplace retirement accounts. The data highlights the difference between men and women and how they save. This article shows that women have much better habits than men, but they have lower balances than men. And the report found that the average 401k balance for men is roughly $194,000, while women are at around $146,000. That's about a 25% gap. The catch here is at comparable income levels, women actually participate in retirement plans at higher rates and they save higher percentages of their paycheck and trade less frequently than men do. They're objectively more disciplined investors. And I can see that. Men tend to lead more on the gambling side. One of the things that they talk about is why are the women balances so much lower than the men? And the article points out that it's really the career interruptions as the major reason why women are earning 81% less than what men do full time. And it's because women tend to step away from the workforce more frequently, or they cut the hours mostly because they end up being the caregivers for children in the family or even aging parents. That can rob them of some of their prime years and where they would make the largest income. So for couples watching, do you notice a difference in investment styles or discipline between you and your partner or your spouse? Who is more likely to panic sell when a market takes a dip? So for me and my wife, she doesn't get involved in investments. I tried to talk to her. I tried to keep her informed on a very broad level because I want her to be familiar with things, but she doesn't really get involved because she doesn't understand it, and she's just not technically savvy. I manage our investments, I manage moving money and here and there, but I do let her know where it is in case something would happen to me. I don't want her to be completely ignorant. So another point here is Vanguard noted that women heavily favor target-dated funds. About 50% of their assets are in them compared to 42% for men. They prefer professional management over trying to trade or pick single stocks. So what are you? Are you a set it and forget it target date fund investor? Or do you prefer picking individual stock, the volatility of the market? 99% of our investments are in stocks. I have some ETFs too. So here's the third and final article, how you track in retirement, comparing your savings by age. This article is from Forbes and it highlights the standard rule of thumb from firms like Fidelity. You should have at least 1 times your salary saved by the age of 30. This is something similar to what I covered last week. By the age of 40, you should have 3 times. By the age of 50, you should have 6 times. And by the time you hit 67, you should have 10 times. So if you make $50,000 a year, you should have $500,000 in the bank by the time you're 67. If you make $100,000, that means you need $1 million by your late 60s. When you look at those official milestones, like having 6 times your salary by the age of 50, do you feel like you'd be on track for that? Or do you feel like those numbers are completely detached from reality? And for me, after working 30 years in intense environments, transitioning to a moderate budget requires shifting your mindset from forever trying to catch up to actually learning how to abide and live the life that you built with the numbers that you have. And the article actually also says that catching up doesn't mean you're sacrificing your current lifestyle. It means you're keeping a higher percentage of your portfolio in growth equities even as you get older. Or doing a phased retirement, working low-stress part-time gig, or consulting rather than just quitting cold turkey. So would you ever consider a phased retirement where you keep working part-time? Or is your ultimate goal to completely cut the cord the minute you can? For me, I'm in this age bracket between 55 and 64. And the average, it's $537,000. The median savings is only $185,000. And here again, you have that 200,000, which is the highest medium savings for any of the age groups. And I'm not sure how people can live on that. Having said this, my parents didn't have even $200,000, but they worked till they were 70. They had to. I mean, part of it was their culture, and part of it was they liked to work, especially my mother. They worked as long as they could, but they had 4 kids growing up. They were blue-collar workers. They made an hourly wage. My mom was the brains in the family. They wouldn't have anything if it was left to my dad. Not that he just spent, but he just didn't have that knowledge. He didn't have that kind of orientation to money. You know, he would have probably just put it in the bank and then spend it when he wanted or when he needed it. My parents had less than $200,000, forced to retire at the age of 70. It was tight even for my parents' simple lifestyle. Just because of my mother, just because of her diligence and discipline with money. I did a little better than them. I had better paying job, I had better opportunities, and I also took bigger risks. I went overseas and lived a very difficult life overseas, a dangerous life overseas, and I have no dependents until recently, to the last couple of years with my wife. At the end of the day, looking at these reports proves one thing. How much are you spending every month? Whether you have $200,000 or less than $1 million like me, or multiple millions, the goal is about what kind of freedom does that give you? What kind of peace of mind, what kind of mental clutter are you able to clear by not having to work and just having enough to live a comfortable life? You know, and I think that's really what it comes down to. The more money you have, the more options you have, but it doesn't mean you're going to be happier. It's really a mental choice, accepting what you're able to do. How many of you are grinding out there? You know, I appreciate if you can hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up on this video. You know, it really helps out the channel to grow and to reach other people who might be interested in this information. What do you think about these numbers? How do you compare to these? Like I said, these are just guidelines. These are just numbers to kind of put your own situation in perspective. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Take care. God bless, and see you in the next one.